Daryl had always been a man of quiet routines. He worked as an accountant, and when he came home, he'd spend time with his wife, Claire, and their 2 kids. But when the kids went to bed and the house grew still, Daryl felt the stirring of something inside him, a craving to step into a different world. He'd slip away to a hidden life, a world where he wasn't just a husband and father. He was someone else entirely, someone confident, colorful, and free. On the weekends, he would attend a local gay bar. There, he could be himself, a performer with a microphone, singing along to upbeat pop songs, lip-syncing with flair. The applause, the cheers, these were the moments he lived for. The club might not have known his real name, but as Dazzling Darlene, he could escape the tight box his life as a husband and father had become. His wife, Claire, had no idea, and Daryl did everything he could to keep it that way. He kept his costumes, wigs, and makeup hidden in a storage unit just outside of town. The thought of Claire finding out terrified him. He wasn't gay, he loved her, adored her, but the performance was everything. It wasn't about his sexuality. It was about the thrill of taking the stage and hearing the crowd roar. It was about dancing and singing, being the center of attention, even for just a few minutes. One evening, after a long day, Claire found a strange bill on the kitchen counter. It was for a storage unit, a place she'd never heard of. Her heart raced as she read the amount, not recognizing the name of the facility. She had a sinking feeling, her mind racing with possibilities. Why was Daryl paying for a storage unit without telling her? What was he hiding? The next morning, Claire drove to the storage facility, her mind filled with 1,000 questions. She arrived, confused, and found the unit locked. The padlock had a familiar-looking key on it, but she didn't have the combination. She returned home, trying to shake the knot in her stomach. Then she saw it, Daryl's key ring, lying carelessly on the kitchen counter. There it was, the key that unlocked the mystery. Determined to uncover the truth, she grabbed the keys and returned to the storage unit. Her hands shook as she tried each one, until finally, she found the one that worked. The lock clicked open, and Claire's heart pounded as she swung the door wide. Inside, the unit was filled with colorful dresses, wigs, shoes, and makeup, everything a drag queen could need. Claire's breath caught in her throat. She stared in disbelief. Oh my God. Her mind couldn't process what she was seeing. Her husband, the man she thought she knew, was a drag queen? No, this couldn't be right. He had to be hiding something else. He had to be gay. When Daryl came home later that night, Claire was waiting. Her eyes were filled with confusion and hurt. She confronted him, demanding the truth. Daryl sighed, his shoulders heavy with the weight of the secret he'd kept for so long. He looked at his wife, his heart aching, and told her the truth. I'm not gay, Claire. I love you. I've always loved you. His voice wavered, and he sat beside her. I love performing. I love dressing up, lip-syncing, and dancing in front of people. It's not about sexuality. It's about the applause, the feeling of being someone else for just a few minutes. I've always wanted to tell you, but I was scared. Scared that you wouldn't understand. I thought you'd think I was crazy or that you'd leave me. Claire sat silently, her heart torn between shock and sorrow. She wanted to understand, but her mind couldn't wrap around it. How could he keep such a big part of himself hidden? She thought about their life together, their family, the life they'd built. And now, this hidden world that seemed so far removed from the man she knew. For a moment, it felt like everything was slipping through her fingers. But then, she saw the sincerity in Daryl's eyes. He wasn't asking for her approval, just for her understanding. And in that moment, something shifted in Claire. The days that followed were difficult. She spent a lot of time processing everything. She thought about her husband, his passions, his need to perform, and slowly, she began to understand that it wasn't about the clothes or the makeup. It was about the joy Daryl felt when he became someone else, someone fierce and confident. It wasn't a betrayal. It was a side of him he had kept hidden to protect their life together. Eventually, Claire made a decision. She would go with him. She would support him. One evening, she surprised Daryl by showing up at the club where he performed. As dazzling Darlene took the stage, Claire watched from the back, her heart swelling with pride as her husband gave everything to the audience. She saw the way the crowd adored him, the way his face lit up as he performed. After the show, Daryl walked off stage to find Claire waiting for him, a proud smile on her face. "You were amazing," she said softly. Tears welled in Daryl's eyes as he took her hand. "You really came?" "I did," Claire replied, her voice shaky with emotion. "I want to be part of this part of your life. I know it's important to you, and I love you for it." Daryl hugged her tightly, overwhelmed with emotion. "I'm so sorry I kept this from you." Claire pulled back slightly, brushing away a tear. "You don't have to apologize. We'll figure this out together." She smiled, her voice cracking. "I'm proud of you, Daryl." As they stood there, the sound of the crowd still buzzing in the background, Claire realized something. She had come to terms with the fact that her husband wasn't just the man she married. He was someone who needed to be free, to perform, to feel alive. And she would stand by him, no matter what. It was a tearjerker, but not one of pain. Instead, it was a moment of growth, of love, and of acceptance, love that transcended everything, even the most unexpected secrets.